I'm Anil Kumar sharing with you some challenge questions. Here we have one on polynomials in factored form. The question is, sketch the graph of function f of x which is equal to x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. I've slightly modified a very simple question to make it extremely difficult. And we will see how. And that is how you sometimes get thinking questions in your test papers. We need to sketch this particular polynomial, and as you know, for sketching, factoring is a very important part. But factoring this may be difficult. X cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1 does remind us of something, and that is, let's look into it. What is x minus 1 whole cube? Now x minus 1 whole cube is x cubed minus 3x squared times 1 plus 3x times 1 minus 1 cube, which is minus 1. Correct. So if you compare these two equations, we have x cubed term, we have minus 3x squared, also 3x, but instead of minus 1, we have plus 1. So what can we do? Okay, so what we can do is we can actually modify the question a bit. So we could write f of x as equal to, we are given x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. We need minus 1, so we can add and subtract some number, and 2 is the number which we are going to add and subtract, correct? So we can add 2 and take away 2. You get an idea. So we can add 2 and take away 2, that is keeping the equation same. However, it makes a difference. The difference is because if we combine these two terms, then what we get is minus 1. So I'll rearrange and do the needful. We have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x. Combining 1 and minus 2, we get minus 1, right? And then we have plus 2 there, correct? So that means we can treat this part as 1 and factor this as x minus 1 whole cubed. You see the idea, right? So what we have here is x minus 1 whole cube plus 2. So that is a huge strategy, one of the best to solve some difficult questions like this. Now I think it is very easy to sketch the polynomial, right? So basically it's a cubic function, so you can actually also write down the transformations and then sketch it. So we can say it is a transformed cubic function, right? So what really happens here is it has been translated 1 unit right and 2 units up, right? So 2 units up. That is what it is. So now it's an easy sketch. So you can actually sketch accurately this particular graph. Here's a rough sketch for you. So what basically this is, as you know, transformed cubic function. So we can always sketch a cubic function kind of like this. So normally when you sketch a cubic function, you are normally considering these 3 points: minus 1, minus 1, 0, 0, plus 1, plus 1. And what we will do here is transform, that is translate it 1 unit right and 2 up, right? So this is 1 for us, and 2 units up will be here. So this point comes to that point, and this also goes 1 unit here, do you see? And this will be your y-intercept, correct? And now we have our transformed function, which is kind of like this. Do you get an idea, right? So I mean, it's not a very accurate graph, but you understand what has happened. So these points, which were points let us say we call them A, B, and C, right? So this is at -1, this is 0, and that is at 1, and well, this moves up by 1, so this should have been here anyway. So this is 1, okay, anyway. So what really happens here is that these points get transformed. So 1 unit right, 2 up, right? So this will go at 1. So this is A dash for you, this is B dash, this is C dash, right? So you can do the transformation and sketch the graph. Is it okay? So that is how it is. So at times, what I want to highlight here is when you look at the polynomial equation, you can think about writing in the form which I've shown, which helps you to describe the transformation. Then it becomes kind of very easy to sketch accurate graph. I hope that helps, right? So we have drawn basic cubic function, and then we have translated that. So this was x cube, which we have translated that to x minus 1 whole cube plus 2, right? So the points considered were -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So when you add 1 to the x value, 2 to the y value, your transformed points will be, so when you add this, you get 0, 1. I'm rewriting this since this graph is not very good, right? So, and this point will be 1, 2. And the third point, which we are calling as C, will be 2, 3, right? So this point is 2, 3. So these are the points A dash, B dash, C dash, and the graph is going to be congruent to x cubed. So we have a congruent graph to you can say y equals to x cubed, right? But translated 1 unit right, 2 units up. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.